Hi guys, welcome to another video. I've come to Tokyo today with my good friend Graham, who's just started teaching in Japan.
Hello.
And we've come to the neighborhood in Tokyo known as Shimo-Kitazawa, and this could be called a kind of bohemian paradise here in the heart of Tokyo. Well known in Japan, but not so much to the greater world, so a really cool place to show you. And to give you a little bit of history, it used to be farmland, which then eventually turned into a residential area following the Great Kanto earthquake in 1921. So you had a lot of people from central Tokyo moving out to this region. And then, following World War II, because it survived the air raids, during the occupational period, when the Americans were in Japan for a period of time, it became an area that you could buy a lot of American secondhand goods, and so a lot of Western culture was imprinted into this location. And then following that, in the 1970s, it became hippie town like so much of the rest of the world did, and that's left a kind of indelible mark from the street graffiti that you see behind me to the kind of shops and many things that you can do here. For example,
yeah, there's a lot of like really cool live music venues and hole-in-the-wall restaurants, and just like walking around is amazing. The amount that you can explore, it's really cool.
Yeah, like you can kind of create your own adventure here because it's not a lot of chain restaurants, it's not a lot of chain stores, and so you might not be able to find it on a map so easily, but it's great to come by yourself and discover things on your own. So we're going to check out 3 places specifically to kind of give you a taste of all those different aspects, and we hope you enjoy. So let's get going.
When you come to Shimo-Kitazawa, depending on whether you are north of the station or south of the station, you're going to get a totally different vibe. North is a lot more edgy, and there's an emphasis put on the street art that you can find there. And in the south, it's more lively, and there's a greater variety of shops. We started in the south at a cafe endowed uniquely with a historical feel to its atmosphere.
Alright guys, so welcome to the first destination that we're going to hit up today that I think speaks to the Shimo-Kitazawa chic, and that is the Moi Cafe behind me here, which is a Showa period home that's been adapted into a cafe. So they got a whole bunch of delicious stuff to try, and it's really cozy inside, kind of like you're going out to eat at a friend's house as opposed to a restaurant. So let's go check it out. Alright guys, welcome to the Moi Cafe in Shimo-Kitazawa. So it legitimately has this cool vibe of being in a Showa period house with the leatherback chairs, really chilled out, and particularly when you find it, it's in the middle of a residential area, so you get this legit feeling like you're being invited up into somebody's home. There's almost like a willingness to let things fall a little into disrepair that adds that extra character to it. It's very cool. Our food's coming up soon, and we got really lucky today because they're closing early, so excited to see what comes out of the kitchen. Okay, so first item that we ordered from the menus is deceptively simple, but I think will be really good, which is an assortment of different pickled items. Now, I feel I'm somewhat of a connoisseur because when I was a kid, my mom used to pickle everything. So we're gonna give you the verdict on this here delicious plethora of pickles that we got and see what they're like. All right, let's go with the pepper. Killer. Nice level of pickling too, not overpowering, not too subtle. They've knocked this out of the park, I think. Okay, so worth saying as well that not only do I love pickles, I love charcuterie. I love assorted different meats, sliced meats, cured hams, and cheeses and crackers. And so this is a real treat for me to try here. And I can say certainly before we've even dug in that they're killing it with presentation. Just look at the layout of this thing. I mean, Japan is always doing this well. They're doing it especially well here. Let's get into it. I'm a huge fan of brie cheese, and we're going to go with a generous dose of it here. Hopefully that focuses. Oh, delicious. Let's get a verdict. Oh man. 10 out of 10. Creamy, delicious. Crackers there, super fresh, little sesame seeds, adding some nice texture elements to it. Out of the park. Well done, Moi Cafe.
After Moi Cafe, we enjoyed what you don't have to pay for in Shimo-Kitazawa, and that's the cool ambiance that you find when you wander around the streets of the neighborhood.
I want to take some time now to specifically focus on one of the coolest things we've definitely discovered since wandering around, and I mentioned in the intro, and that is the street art. It is so cool and so unique, where I don't think you really find this in other areas around Tokyo because it's so ordered and anything like this would be considered vandalism, where here it seems to be encouraged. I think a good comparison that I saw for Shimo-Kitazawa, or an analogy, would be to compare it to a toy box where you don't know exactly what you're gonna pull out. It's all kind of randomly thrown in there, but then there's a uniqueness to the experience because you're discovering each time you go digging in what you're gonna find. You're not going to find any of this street art on a Google map to tell you to go there, and so it can be something that you feel like you personally found when you got here. So keep an eye out for it, and particularly in the northern area of the station, that seems to be the best.
The street graffiti of Shimo-Kitazawa is artistically satisfying, but if it's whimsy that you feel starved for, it is another shop that can serve you up a healthy heaping dose. And that is where we went to next.
All right, we've made it to location number 2, and that is Shiro-Hige's Puff Factory. And if something looks familiar here, that's because you're a fan of Studio Ghibli and you're noticing Totoro on all the imagery that you find around here, and as well as the delicious eats that you can find inside. And cool fun fact, it's actually Hayao Miyazaki, the director from Spirited Away and all the famous Studio Ghibli films, cousin, who runs this location. So all that irreverent coolness that you find in Studio Ghibli, they've really managed to embody here in this shop as well. So let's check it out.
One thing that surprised me and Graham was that even with assuming this place was going to be popular, we never realized just to what degree. There was consistently a line coming out from the store. And after you get inside, even when you arrive, it kind of makes sense. Like, they've chosen the perfect location, the quality of what they're making is amazing, the service is incredible. They really do capture some of that strange, comforting feeling that you get from watching the Studio Ghibli films.
All right, we waited in line. I'm actually amazed. This place is super popular. I had no idea that people needed their cream puff so bad. But we got 2 flavors. We got strawberry and we got custard. I would have got chocolate for all those chocolate lovers out there, but bitterly the person just before us got it. But I love strawberries, so let's try this little guy out, see if it's worth all the hype. Impressions. It's kind of morbid, actually. I'm about to bite his head off. Oh man. Japan is famous for having like super flaky, super fresh. This epitomizes that. All right, guys, we are going to check out our final destination, but I wanted to close this place off because it's worth it. It's been so cool to check out, not just the decor, but obviously the quality of the food was so good. And if the 2 flavors we got aren't exactly your thing, they actually have a bunch of different options. So you can get melon, which is a chestnut flavor. You can get caramel banana. If you come between 5 and 8, they have a green tea flavor. And you may have noticed on the top of the cream puff that there was one of those little sweets, and those have a different flavor themselves. It was amazing. This is like, I thought it would be cool, but I'm actually blown away just how good it was. All right, so that's it for this location. Let's go to the final. We've made it to the final destination on our list today, which I think does a really good job of showing what Shimo-Kitazawa is known for. So I'm an absolute caffeine fiend, and behind me is Bear Pond Espresso. So the proprietor of this wonderful establishment is Katsu Tanaka, and he's developed his reputation apparently in New York, where he lived for a long period before moving back to Japan, into some really awesome espresso. particularly one called Angel Stain, except that's only served till 1 p.m. and he only does 30 a day. So we're out of luck for that, but he's got a lot of other great options, and I'm gonna try one of those. No recording inside the building, so of course we're gonna respect that, but I'll be out shortly with something delicious. Okay guys, so we got my dirty espresso. That is in fact the name of it. Word to the wise, when they say they don't want you taking a picture at all, they mean anywhere near the vicinity, because they got mad at us for taking a picture outside the place. So I can respect that. I know how frustrating it is if you got tons of tourists coming by and making people feel awkward. I just regret it because I want to respect the store. I want to show off these really cool places. So be especially careful when it says don't take pictures inside the store. It may mean out. But with that said, let's see what the guy puts together. It looks delicious. It looks creamy. Let's have a try. It's amazing. They may be a bit of a hard ass in there, but they make damn fine espresso. It's creamy, it's light, it's got that little bit of bite that I love with a good espresso. I could see even behind the counter the guy was taking his care with it, so much so. Well, that is very good. So it's still a winner. If you guys want to grab a nice cup of coffee, grab a nice espresso, come and check out Bear Pond. Just be especially respectful of the vibe that they got going on there.
Having scratched off the final destination on our list, we still felt we'd not experienced all the neighborhood had to offer, and Graham mentioned that there was a cool theater we could check out, so we went in search of that.
We mentioned live music venues, but there's also like a really cool short film theater called Tollywood. It's right over there, and it specializes in animated films, like independent animated short films. So we're gonna see one, see how it goes.
Alright, so we finished off the movie, and I think we're gonna finish off this video right here, but that was quite an experience. So what's your verdict before we sign off? What'd you think?
Dave?
Yeah?
It was a risk.
It was a risk, yeah.
Yes. And it may have not paid off, but, you know, we'll continue our search for the great independent film directors of our time.
Experientially worth it. Definitely not the best anime I've ever seen in my life, and somebody might want to speak to them about the volume that they've set things at in there, because it nearly blew our heads off, but it's worth a try.
Shrill.
It was shrill. So this has been an awesome video to make. I can recommend Shimo-Kitazawa unequivocally. It's so cool, interesting, and I feel like, I mean, you can tell the sun's gone down here. That's how long we've explored for, and we could probably spend a whole nother day here checking out all the places that they have, but amazing. Cool, so that's gonna sign it off for now. Please do follow me on all the social media that I'll have flashed up on the screen here. I appreciate you guys watching very much. Please consider supporting me on Patreon if you want to see other videos like this show up on the channel. And I will catch you in the next video. Love to see you down in the comments below. Peace.